Hi Flosstube. My name's Texas Bob 88. I'm a male cross stitcher. This is a channel about cross stitching. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. I have show notes this time, so I should be a little more on focus, and I'm going to try and make this not a super long video. I say that every time, but honestly, we'll see what I can do. I do have other plans. It's been a very busy weekend, and we'll get more to that later. So first I want to start with my Fangirl section for all of y'all who are new and joining. If you like my video, subscribe, hit the thumbs up, let people know you love me. Shout outs. But I'm going to start with my Fangirl portion. My Fangirl portion is where I go over Flosstubers that I've watched on a regular basis or have recently discovered. I do the shout out because if you're just discovering me for the first time and you want to see some other people, these are people that I find interesting. So, lots in common, and people that I watch on a semi-regular basis. As a matter of fact, I think everyone that I have listed is somebody that I actually follow. So, the first one, and this is going to, I'm going to share a little bit of my backstory. So, I'm fluent in American Sign Language. I've thought about doing a Flosstube in sign language, but I would have to do a voiceover, and I haven't signed regularly in like 2 years, so I don't know how I would feel about that. But the Silent Stitcher, and she is a deaf cross stitcher. She is a deaf floss tuber. She does her entire videos in sign language, and then she has somebody who does a voiceover for her. So it was really interesting to watch. I actually discovered her like while I was getting ready to go to bed. Sometimes I'll put on Flosstube in the background while I'm trying to sleep. And because she signs and I want to watch her, not necessarily listen to the voiceover because it's good practice for me, even though I haven't done it in 2 years, it was something I wanted to pay attention to. So I saved it. I've put it on the back burner. I need to get back to it at some point, like when I have time to sit down and pay attention to it and I don't have a million things going on. But the Silent Stitcher, a great one to watch, especially if you know sign language. It's really kind of cool. I'm so happy to see that there is a deaf floss tuber out there. Jan Hicks Creates, I think I've shouted her out before. I love her channel. And if you know who she is and haven't seen her recent video, she has a surprise. You should go check that out. I'm super excited for the surprise. I'm not going to ruin it because it is not my surprise. However, if you look at the thumbnail for her most recent video, I'm sure you will figure it out. Stitching Jules. Stitching Jules is a vet in Colorado who has been doing a stitching channel for a while. She just recently started posting more about her job and stuff. I'm sorry, I'm using my pen as a wand. Wingardium Leviosa. So, she does all full coverage. Like, almost every single one of her projects is full coverage. There's some that I don't think are, but her projects are amazing, and she was the one who encouraged me to kind of do the full coverage project, the Plus Ultra, which is my first full coverage project. I'm having problems talking. Words, y'all, words. So she was the one who encourages people who are scared of the full coverage projects to just go for it. And so when I saw this full coverage project and I'm like, I have a friend that would absolutely love that, I watched one of her videos because I wasn't sure about doing a full coverage project, and she was like, you know, if you want to do a full coverage project, just go for it. So I went for it. And I have some exciting news for y'all on the Plus Ultra. Creativity by Gidge. And all of these will be linked in my description if you want to go find them. So Creativity by Gidge is, I love her. She named her phone Linda, and she says, "Listen, Linda," a lot. It's hilarious. I love it. And she's kind of one of my spirit animals, and the fact that she talks about being a mess sometimes. And girl, I feel you. I have piles around me of things that I want to talk about, and this video took like 15 to 30 minutes to set up for, just because I was trying to collect everything from around my house, because I don't have just like an area where I sit and stitch. I'm all over the place. So, and she has, if you have nails, I'm a boy, so I don't put nail polish on. There are some boys who do, but I do not. And she has these, they're like nail polish stickers. They're actual nail polish, but it's like a sticker. They're called Color Streets. And she is doing a Gidge box, which are the nail polish stickers that she chooses, and they're super cute. Like, I love her style. If I had nails, I would do it. I'm actually thinking about getting some for my friend who paints her nails, but hates painting her nails because of the amount of time it takes to dry. Apparently, these don't take very long to dry. So, check those out. And then the other one, I believe I'm pronouncing it right. It's Jenna X Stitches. And she's a new one that I recently discovered, and I love. So her projects are really like anime and game based predominantly. Like a lot of them are game maps, and I love that. So that's stuff that I'm into. I don't play as many video games as I would like, but that's on me. But a lot of them are like game maps or Pokemon, and I love her style that she stitches in. So y'all should go and check her out, especially if you're into like anime and things like that. I'm gonna see if I can get the color on this. No, that washes it out way too much. Okay. I don't know. I'm trying, y'all. Okay, that's a little bit better. So that's my fangirl portion. There are a lot more people that I watch, and I really want to sit here and like shout them all out at once, but then that video would probably be like 2 hours long because it's really how many people I subscribe to. It's kind of bad. So if you get bored and you have time, go check them out. So my friend Erin, the one I'm doing the Tudor Rose for, more on that later, came into town this weekend, and we got her to cross stitch. So she's probably going to be a little mad at me because I'm going to show it off now. But it's super cute, and it was a little freebie pattern, and she left it at my house. So I figured I'd go and show it, and she's going to see this and really is probably going to be a little bit mad at me. But y'all show her some stitchy love in the comments below, because she does follow me and like watches me religiously. So she'll probably see the comments. But look, y'all. Look at how cute that is. So she ordered the Tudor Rose for me. She was like, when are you going to do me a cross stitch? And I was like, when I have money to get you one, and what do you want? And she's like, I don't know. And she's told me she liked flowers. I was like, okay. And I know she's a history buff, and she's into the Tudor dynasty. So I immediately like went Tudor Rose. I started Googling, found a pattern that I thought she would like, and she did. So she ordered it for me so that I could do it for her. And this was in the instructions. There were instructions on how to cross stitch. And so yesterday when she was like, kind of, are you going to teach me how to stitch? I pulled out the how-to, and she stitched the little pattern, and she finished it in probably like an hour and a half, 2 hours, but we took a break for dinner. So it really didn't take that long, and it's super cute. Like, it's really little. I like you. It reminds me of the It's You I Like pattern that everybody's doing, that I really need to do one. I need to do quite a few, actually. But she did really good, and we had this kit. It didn't sell. It's a little card kit that's on perforated paper, which I've actually never stitched on. It's a little Christmas card kit. And so we gave this to her so that she could take it home and have something to cross stitch on. I don't know that she's hooked, but we got her started on it. So it's super cool. I'm converting, bringing people over to the dark side. So if you notice I'm looking down, my camera is up here. There we go, up here. And so when I look down, it's because I'm looking at my image. So I'm trying to look at the camera because I've heard some other Flosstubers getting some critiques on not looking at the camera, so I'm trying to be better about that. It is really difficult to just sit there and stare at a blank spot when you can see yourself moving down at the peripheral. So I'm working with that. So, Erin, I'm crossing things off my list, y'all. And the only reason I remembered to introduce myself today was because I wrote it down. So I'm going to put the pen down so I stop clicking. So I have some exciting news. But first, we're going to go into my least productive whip of the week, which is the unicorn. And I really think that the unicorn... See, now you can see my tension. I don't know how I feel about that. Those giant holes up there. Anyway, so... There we go. So... There have been a lot of color changes, and recently I had some mess up spots, so I haven't been as encouraged to work out on this one. I will post somewhere a picture of my past progress and what the completed pattern should look like, just so y'all have an idea of what I'm talking about if y'all are new. For my regular subscribers and followers, you can honestly see that I haven't made very much progress. I stitched in it for a little bit yesterday. However, this is homework for something that I'm going to talk about later. So I'll come back to it. A little needle minder from Horton Hears a Who. Okay, so the exciting news is, on my full coverage project, y'all have noticed that it has been two colors, yellow and blue, since I started it. I got to put new colors in. So, Plus Ultra is coming into the window. So this is Plus Ultra. Oh, look at you. Plus Ultra. And before it was just all yellow and blue, and now you can see it is black and green, and it looks like... So I bought all of the floss for this in one setting, but for some odd reason, I don't know if it's like because the fabric's a little crinkly, because I've been stitching this in hand and doing the sewing method, and so I crinkled it up, but they were looking like two different blues. I don't know. Anywho, so I got to do black, and originally the green is charted for red. Okay, I'm trying to fix the lighting, y'all. I don't know what I'm doing. Last time I could fix the lighting. I don't know. It's probably because I'm filming it in camera mode and not in my other setting. So, anyway, there we go. I'm done playing with the camera now. So, as you can see, it's not true to color right now. There. So, that's a little bit more true to color. So his hair was originally charted in red because that's what the original piece of artwork that this is based off of had his hair colored. But this is Plus Ultra. If you watch the anime My Hero Academia, then you know that the character that I'm stitching, because I'll show you a pattern here. Gonna switch the color. There we go. So I'll show pattern completion and some updates somewhere. It'll be in the video. I know it will. So his name is his last name is Midoriya. And Midori, the root word of Midoriya, is the Japanese word for green, and his hair is green in the anime, so it makes sense. I was showing this to my friend, I'm stitching it for her husband, who's a huge fan of the TV series, and she was like, but his hair's green, it's not red, and he's gonna say something about that. So I went ahead and so I had offered to sample stitch that for the designer, and told her that if I did stitch it in red, I was going to have to rip it out. And she said, you know what, just do it in green. I'll be happy to see your progress. But I'm going to keep the pattern because it's based off of original art. Totally get it. Okay. So I went and found a green that matches the hair color. I matched it on my phone, so it may not be exact, but it's pretty darn close. And started stitching that. I'm super excited. So, Plus Ultra. The exciting thing about that is I've been talking about this pattern, but I've been telling you that I'm I wasn't going to tell you where I got it, and she hasn't posted it for sale anywhere. So I was talking to her, and I asked her if I could let y'all know where to get it. And she told me to just have you go to the Facebook group where you can get it for free. And the name of the Facebook group is Crazy Likes Things Patterns! Exclamation point. So crazy, C-R-A-Z CRAZEYSLIKESTHINGspatterns! Exclamation point. Go join the Facebook group because she has 2 patterns that she posted for free that she's was just looking to have testers on, and they're super cute patterns. And the Plus Ultra, I'm really enjoying stitching it. It's a really easy stitch. It's really nice. They're only, well, because I added a color, I think there are 6 colors now. But originally there were only 5 colors. It is full coverage and it is fairly large. So be aware of that before you go. So I'm crossing things off my list as I go. So I mentioned that the unicorn is homework. I'm going to go ahead and mention the other Facebook group I have listed since I mentioned the first one. And I have joined the Stitchy Quest to destroy the One Ring. I was super jealous that everybody was a member of this Harry Potter group and had Stitchy homework that they had to keep up with. And I thought it looked like fun. And they all talked about it, and I was super jealous. So I decided that I was going to join the group, but I'm not a big Harry Potter fan. If you want more on that, you can go to my last video. Don't hate me. I'm sorry. I feel like Lord of the Rings is more geared towards adults, and I'm 31. So, anyway, I joined this group. I am not doing very well on homework, but I'm trying and I'm really enjoying it. So, this week, we have to try. So, in the book, there is a part where they traverse mountains. And it takes 72 days. And it's 432 steps, I believe. So, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to stitch for 72 minutes on this. And then you roll a d6 dice. And after that, you can either decide to go to another project, and they have a list of projects and the criteria that they need to match, or you can stitch on this for another 72 minutes and then roll 2d6 dice. The goal is to roll the dice however many times you need to get to 432. So I would stitch on this for 72 minutes, roll a d6, say I got a 5, and I got 5 points. Then I'd stitch on it for another 72 minutes, and then I'd roll 2 dice and say I got 9, a 5 and a 4. Then I add that to the original 5, so then that makes 14. And you keep going until you hit 432. However, if you switch projects, then you have to start back over at 1 dice, and that happens every time you switch projects. And there are 6 different criteria you can choose from. And their assumption is basically that you're going to get tired of a project to the point where you won't want to work on it anymore, but your goal is to hit 432. And you don't have to start back at 0 if you switch projects. You just add them to the points you already have. You just start back at 1 dice, and then you get to add dice for every 72 minutes. So my goal is to get a whole bunch of progress on this. It's also part of other homework too that I need to work on, but I'm behind. I joined the group late, and they talk about either you can just join the group and start where they're starting, or you can go back and do catch-up events, which they do at the end of every month, where you go back to previous events and stitch. And there's even a spreadsheet. Like, I love the spreadsheet. You can go and save the spreadsheet, save a copy of the spreadsheet so you can make changes to it and do your own thing. And it's really, really cool. I really do enjoy it. It's really fun. I haven't been very active in the group, but I'm not a big Facebook fan. I'm not a huge social media person. As a matter of fact, group idea of somebody who's, a member of the group, could we start like an Instagram thing? Because Instagram is the one social media that I keep up to date on pretty regularly. Even then, I don't post very much. It's funny because I'm on YouTube, but I'm not big into social media, surprisingly enough. I do this once a week. I'm not a daily poster. So that brings me to my next thing on the list, now that I've talked about my groups. And there will be links to all this in the descriptions. It may not happen immediately, but there will be links. I have to do the links on my computer. It's a thing. So, next is patterns I'm getting ready. So I am currently getting the fabric dyed for this piece. And I asked my subscribers and people who watched my last video to comment on whether or not they thought I should do like a solid dye, an ice dye, which is more modeled and more tie-dye-esque, or should because I'm stitching it on royal purple and I don't have money to go buy royal purple fabric, so I was dyeing fabric. And I found some even weave super cheap, and it's 100% cotton, so currently it is dyeing. Like right now, it's in the other room dyeing. I have ice dye, and then I have a piece that I'm submerged dyeing. Water dyeing, whatever you want to call it. So it's submerged in water, and I have to go stir that after I'm done with this video. So I talked to Erin, because she's here, and I went ahead and I asked her, do you want something that's more modeled or do you want something that's more solid? And she said solid because she's not a big fan of tie-dye, and it kind of reminded her of tie-dye when it's modeled. But I think it would look really pretty on the modeled fabric because it would look more like stained glass. So I'm doing two pieces, and then I'll show her when they're done and let her choose. And I will respect her wishes and do it on the one that she chooses, even if I like the other one better. So those are dyeing. Now I did them in purple, but I added pink because if you know anything about royal purple, it technically has like a red tint to it. It's not just like straight purple. It actually has like a little hint of red, like traditional royal purple. And there may be people who disagree with me, but from my research and from what she told me, royal purple has more of a red tint to it. So, it'll be really interesting to see how they turn out. So one's hopefully going to be like a solid dye, and then the other one is going to be more modeled, and we'll see what she says. My next thing is some disappointment. So I was looking for a pattern. It's a Beauty and the Beast pattern. It's the Thomas Kincaid Beauty and the Beast pattern, to be exact. And I don't want the kit because I don't care about the kit. I'll totally kit it up myself. And so I've been looking for it, and I found one on eBay. I found several on eBay, but the kits that I found were like $500 because the kit is no longer in production. So people are trying to capitalize, and I get it. Like, you want to make some money. But it just sucks because I really want this pattern and I can't afford to spend $500 on it. So I found a cheaper version of the pattern. You can see the look on my face. So this is the pattern, and it looks super nice far away. And then you get up close and you start to notice that it's pretty pixelated, right? Yeah, the whole pattern's like that. And I believe that if I stitch it on like 50 count, the picture will look like it does back here. Imagine that on 50 count. I don't stitch on 50 count. Like this, I imagine would be like 50 count 1/1. And I'm sure it would look real pretty. But I stitch more at like 32, 36, and I have a feeling it's just going to look pixelated like that, and none of it's very clear like that, and you lose a lot of the detail, and it makes me sad. So I'm not throwing it away. I have a digital copy of it. I printed out the copy to match it up to see what it would look like, to see what the chart looked like, and it was, it's okay. I'm just disappointed. My unicorn was more of a horse pretending to be a unicorn, or maybe a narwhal. My unicorn was a narwhal. Sorry if you like narwhals, but I'm a little disappointed by my narwhal. So, I love Beauty and the Beast. Like, I'm a huge fan of Beauty and the Beast. She's my favorite princess. If you've been watching me from the beginning, you know that, and you're probably tired of hearing me say that, but that is one of my favorite Disney movies. I will continue looking for the pattern. All I want is the pattern. I don't want the kit, but people are still charging out the ass. Sorry, pardon my French, for it. And it's really disheartening. My aunt sells cross-stitch patterns, is currently selling cross-stitch patterns by a famous artist who's dead. And she's selling them, she started off the bidding at like $6. And she recently sold a hand-painted needlepoint canvas by the same artist. It's Degrassi. And someone sent her a message and was like, hey, I saw that you sold that. Maybe you would like to buy one of these. And they were needlepoints as well, but they were selling them for like $500 to $800. And that's just the capitalism. Anyway, so, and I think she sold that one for like $10. Not even joking. And all she wants is them to go to a happy home. But some of these people are just trying to capitalize like nobody's business. And it's just a little disheartening. Like, people talk about patterns being stolen. And I see why people get the knockoffs. You know, it's like going and buying a knockoff purse because you can't afford the original $600 one. And I don't encourage people to go buy knockoffs because it's illegal, and I believe that the original pattern designer should get the money that they deserve from the production and selling of their pattern. But it's just hard. Like, it's a pattern I want, and technically, even after you've stitched a pattern, you're not supposed to give the pattern away because it can be like a copyright infringement, whatever. But I get it. To all my independent designers, I will buy from you and not from somebody if I know where the original comes from, and I really do try and do research. I bought that one knowing it was a knockoff, and I got what I paid for. So, unfortunately, you know, I may stitch it. It'll just be on really small fabric because then some of the detail will come back. So, that's where I'm at with that. Let's see. Oh, so, happy notes. I'm getting real close to 500 subscribers, y'all. And at 500 subscribers, I have mentioned I was going to do a giveaway. And last week, I mentioned that they had charms. This week, I'm going to show them to you. So, if you noticed, I covered up the floss key. So, this one is Beehive Violets. I'm reading that backwards on my screen, y'all. And as you can see, it's a little beehive. And it has a little bee charm. And then, on top of that, I'm doing Big Bee, Little Bee. So, super cute. They're the giveaway for 500 subscribers, and both of them have charms. And they have instructions. My aunt couldn't sell them on eBay because taking pictures of these, you can clearly see what the pattern is. And I have to show them to you so that y'all know what y'all are entering to win. And if you want to try and copy them, like, more power to you. But I covered up the floss key so that you can't. It's not going to be exact, y'all. And so that's your thing. So that's for the 500 subscribers. I will give y'all instructions once I hit 500 subscribers on how to enter to win those. And I'm thinking about taking some hints from Michelle Bendy, from Michelle Bendy Stitchy. Michelle Bendy Stitch. Who found me and has commented on a couple of my videos. Like, Fangirl met y'all. And she just started her new website. I will try and remember to post a link for that. As a matter of fact, let me write. Okay. So, I put a note to link her website. My video may cut off here in like 2 seconds, so we'll see what happens. Oh, it continued. Yes. Okay, so a lot of times my videos cut me off at 30 minutes, and this one's continuing, so who knows. So I will link her new website where you can buy her patterns directly from her, and she said that she's even shipping overseas to England, I believe. I believe she said she's doing international sales, so check that out. And she had some patterns that I hadn't seen yet, and I'm thinking I need to go check them out. And I saw the pricing on her website, and they're not overpriced. Like, they're like a good price. So I recommend that you go check her out. Both her YouTube, which will be linked, and her website, which should be linked under that. And support her. She is a Flosstuber who is an independent artist who's just trying to make it. So check her out. Which brings me to another thing. So I was thinking about creating a pattern. To all of my people who have made patterns, like software that you used or how you went about creating it, I have an idea. I'm going to do a Jane Austen pattern. Yes, I know that there are some out there. However, they are not what I want. And as a matter of fact, I was thinking about doing a series, and they would kind of be in sampler style. But we'll see what happens. But anyway, so I'm thinking about doing a pattern. My first one would be based on Pride and Prejudice. If any of the people who produce patterns out there are watching, please let me know what software you use or what advice you might have for somebody who's trying to, just jump into the deep end, because that's apparently what I'm doing. It's how I do everything. Like, first project, y'all. Blended threads and everything. So my next thing, which I don't actually have on my list, is I made some needle minders. Sorry about the noise. Look. So, oh look, you can kind of see my reflection. So that's kind of what I see. It's a little bit clearer. So all of these I bought at the thrift store, the craft thrift store that I go to, called the Art Asylum in Houston. If you live in Houston, you should go. Great art stuff, super cheap for any kind of art. And so they had a bowl full of these bottle caps and some of these like medallion thingies. And they were super cheap, so we bought them. And I glued magnets to the back of them. You can see, this is super glue. We tried using hot glue, and the hot glue kept coming off. And then my aunt was like, here, I'll do it. And she threw a whole bunch of hot glue on there. And this magnet has stuck. I just don't like how much glue there is. So I have a UT Longhorn, because hook 'em horns. I have a mustache, because I mustache you a question. I have Marie Antoinette, because this is going to go on the Tudor Rose. Yes, I know it's not a Tudor, but she was royalty. And then P, because my last name is Prusner. And P3, which, if you were a Charmed fan, was the name of Piper's nightclub that she had, and was a homage to the Power of Three, which is what her and her sisters are known as, so P3. And then Rosie the Riveter, because we can do it. We can, y'all. We can all do it. And I stole this idea of sticking it to a tin from Coffee Stitcher, because he's brilliant, and I love him. I haven't watched his new video, but because I figured I needed to do this, because it's now 2:42. I'm going on 34 minutes, and I have a party I have to go to tonight. Luckily, I went to church today, so I'm already dressed. So this is an Advocare tin that my aunt had, that I'm planning on like writing stuff on the tin, because I think it's cute, that I haven't really stored very much in, but plan on filling to the brim with items. But anyway, he had some tins that he had gotten from his grandmother that he stuck his needle minders to, And after I was done with the needle minders, I'm like, where can I put them? Hey, Aunt Mary, do you have a tin you're not using? And she's like, yeah, sure, go check my sewing room. So I went into her sewing room. Yes, she has a sewing room, a room dedicated to sewing. No beds in there at all. And found that one, and it works perfectly. So there's that. Okay, so last but not least, Art Asylum. Place I've mentioned millions of times. My aunt found a frame there a while back that had a piece of art in it that she replaced with something else because she liked the frame. So she found another frame that matches. However, there was some artwork in it. Isn't this cute, y'all? So, the back of this picture, actually, and it's actually behind the back, there was the artist's name and a price of $45. And this is like an original like piece. And my aunt didn't realize it was Harry Potter at first. However, I recognized that it was Harry Potter from like the get-go. And just so you know, I don't hate Harry Potter. I just don't read Harry Potter anymore because I'm not a high schooler. I read it in high school. I can't relate to him anymore. I'm sorry. But I still think that he's a great character and is amazing. So, and this is super cute. Like super, super cute. So I was thinking, this would make a great full coverage cross-stitch pattern. Well, because the artist's name was on there, I contacted the artist via Facebook. Her name is Brittany Falcon. She lives in the Houston area. She's local. And I reached out to her and asked her if I could turn it into a pattern. And she said, yes, you can, for personal use only. So I reached out to another friend who has converted art to patterns. You see where this is going? And have asked her. I then let her know who I got the who the original artist was, so that maybe they could collab together and produce them for the public. I don't know. I think it would be a great idea. However, if I get this turned into a pattern, y'all will hear about it, and I will keep y'all posted on that. I'm super excited. I have to scan the original artwork and send it to her so that she can convert it into a pattern, and then hopefully I will be working on it. But like, can't you just, I want it on a pillow. That's what I want. I want it on a pillow. I want a Harry Potter pillow, y'all. The only thing I think would make this better is if Hedwig was like flying somewhere over here. But that's just me. But it's super cute, and I love it. And so once again, her name was Brittany Falcon. She does have an Etsy. I'm going to try and find the Etsy. If I find it, it will be linked. However, I found her on Facebook. I'm not going to link her Facebook page, though, because I don't know that she wants people going back and forth. But I will try and find her Etsy. However, once again, Brittany Falcon, you can look her up. Her artwork is super cute, and she has a lot. So she does anime conventions, so she has a lot of characters like from video games and anime characters. And so if you're into that, her art is beautiful, and if you buy a piece, she might let you convert it to cross stitch. I really think she's missing a market there, a cross stitch market. So I'm trying to make this happen, y'all. I'm really trying. If any of y'all are watching out there and y'all make patterns, maybe y'all can try and talk to her, because I really think that she could actually make some interesting money if she sold patterns at anime conventions. As a matter of fact, like, we may be missing a whole market out there. Like, there could be hundreds of people that could be reached via the cross-stitch community through anime. Soapbox, I'm getting off. I'm stepping down. Okay, so once again, I'm going to link my aunt's eBay account. My aunt sells cross-stitch and quilting patterns and even some clothing patterns on eBay. She also sells some other things. She has some things going on. The eBay name is Treasure Frog, because we like frogs, and she's trying to share her treasures with the world. These are kits and patterns. They are the originals. They are not copies. So they're just stuff that she's collected over the years that she knows she's never going to stitch and I don't want, so she's selling them. And not too long ago, one of my subscribers can't remember which one at the moment. I didn't write it down on show notes. I'm sorry, a subscriber. I know you're out there. Messaged her and was like, I know this is a long shot, but are you so-and-so's aunt? He talks about his aunt who sells things on eBay, and she has, I think it's you. And so my aunt reached out and said, yeah, you know, that's me. My nephew does have a Flosstube. And she was like, you can tell how much he cares about you. And I do care about my aunt. It was, and I'm happy that that comes across. But my aunt actually sent her another package of stuff that she couldn't sell on eBay. So this YouTuber or this follower should have a package coming from my aunt soon. And it was just, my aunt thought it was cool that she was following me and was like, here's a whole bunch of stuff. So it's really sweet. I think it's really cool that people from the Flosstube community, from people who subscribe to my channel, are hitting up my aunt on eBay and buying stuff, and it's great. Like, keep doing it. So I will try and get all of that stuff linked. I'm checking my notes. Okay, so the last is personal update. Sorry, most of my videos are around an hour. I try and make them short, but apparently I just talk a lot. So that was the end of the stitching event. Next, we're going into personal stuff. So if you're done with the stitching, peace out, keep stitching. But if you're here for personal stuff and you want to hear what's going on, like school updates and stuff, we're down. So, job update. Still haven't received my job offer. If you've been following me, you know I was supposed to hear something at the beginning of last week. I didn't hear anything. However, we're going on to a holiday weekend, and so I figured I would call after the holiday. I'll give you some time to rest, and then I'm going to blow up your phone because I need a job, y'all. I've done everything that you've asked me to. Like, come on, let's get this paperwork rolling. Let's get this road on the show. So, I'm still waiting on that. However, I do have another opportunity to make money that hopefully follows through. Last is school update. So the school update is that I have heard that they've received my application. I filled out a supplemental application and now have access to the school's portal. However, I do not have an acceptance letter or a rejection letter or a you've been waitlisted letter. So I'm still waiting, and that's really all it seems to be right now, is a lot of impatiently waiting for things. So we'll see what happens. I'm keeping my fingers crossed on everything right now. I'm staying as hopeful as I can, staying positive. God has a plan. I'm just trying to work it. Gotta love when they don't give you the instructions. So I feel like God's kind of like IKEA. He gives you instructions, you just can't read them. So I sometimes it's clear and the pictures make sense, and then at other times it's just IKEA. Is this upside down? Where's right side up? So God is like IKEA. That's a great analogy, y'all. I think I need a shirt that says that. God is like IKEA. So that is everything. Like I said, I'm going to try and get everything linked quickly, but I'm going to do the links on my computer, and I'm filming this on my iPad, so it'll be uploaded from my iPad, and then I have to go to my computer and type in go into the description and talk about like what this video is about and add all the links. And I do have notes for everything, so I will try and make sure that I add all of the links that I've talked about, but no promises. So y'all keep stitching. Have a blessed day. Peace out, y'all.